Hey guys, welcome back to the workshop today. I am here again with the Corsair to give you an update, and as you can see, it's quite the update. First off, I want to address that I have gotten the canopy retract mechanism working, and clip now that shows the mechanism working. Yeah, it was a complicated thing, and the short story is make sure that you have a servo that is going to do the job that you fully intended to do. The other part that I got obviously is the tail retract mechanism. I got that all wrapped up. It's kind of hard to see, but it's working, and I got the pull lines working for the tail wheel as well, and built up the whole bottom end of the fuselage and got the wing mounted obviously, and the belly pan, and fitted the tail planes, and I'm extremely happy with how the horizontal stabilizer was mounted. It's perfectly level with the wings, and that really is a testament to building on a completely flat surface. That's not me, that's just making sure that your build surface is flat. So I'm sure I've got a picture I can show you guys on that. The side-to-side angle was within 1 millimeter. I measured it with a tape measure from tip of the wing to tip of the horizontal stabilizer, so really, really accurate. And obviously got the vertical square, and the rudder and elevators, they've been roughed in. They don't have hinges or glued into position yet, but all that to come, because I've got to do some blending, got to do some glass work before I can permanently mount those. Moved on to the flaps. The flaps have taken quite a bit of time. The two outer flaps are just trailing edge stock, triangle stock, but the center flap, because it's bowed, if you can see, because it's bowed, it's got some ribs inside, but the leading edge of each one of these flaps is contoured in a special way so that because of the hinge point where they mount. And I'll go over that more once it's built up, and you'll be able to fully understand why they have to be built in such a special way. So all of that done. Also, the little notch here is for a run cam split, and that will be mounted in there, so I'll be able to transmit some FPV footage while I'm flying, as well as record HD footage for some of these videos to share with you guys. Fully detailed cockpit, I think, would be fun for people to look in on as I'm flying this airplane. No intention of flying FPV. I don't want there to be any misconceptions about that. So moving on, what's left in the main build? Well, not a whole heck of a lot. I've got the ailerons to do. Obviously, I need to finish up the flaps. There's still some additional carving and trailing edge of the wing I need to do, but the flaps need to be carved to shape. They need to be installed. The wing tips need to be installed. Those are just balsa blocks that I need to shape down with my razor planer and shaped and blended into the rest of the wing. From there, I need to move on to the nose. I'll be mounting the cowl comes in two parts. There's like a ring that goes on it, and then there's the front cowl part itself. The ring I will be cutting out to do functional cowl flaps, so that'll be fun. And obviously I need to get my motor and speed controller installed. Still waiting on that to arrive. And from there, it's all down to glass work at this point. After that, you need to do lots of glass work. Just cover everything with glass. I also need to do some epoxy and glass on the main gear doors. I also need to create proper doors that are scaled for the tail wheel retract as well. And then obviously getting, that's the biggest burden, I guess, on any Warbird build, is getting the gear doors to work properly. So that'll be quite the chore. And then from there, it's just, you know, my favorite thing. Panel lines, rivets, lots of detailing, weathering. Need to shape the final shape the leading edge of the wing. Get the cockpit all mocked up and painted and installed, and get all the fun bits animated in there. So, you know, just little things left. There's quite a bit left of this build. I know it looks pretty impressive here sitting in my lap, but trust me, there's plenty more to do before this thing flies. But definitely want to give you guys an update, and let's see what else. Okay guys, so I've been saying it for a while to some other friends online that I'd like to make it to more events, and it's hard. I've got kids, I've got a job, I've got a life, and there are things in our lives that only come around once in a while. And my good friend Carl Leidick, who has featured me on his channel, and I featured him on my channel, and Carl lives right down the road with me, and he said, hey, my wife wants me out of the house for a couple of days. Do you want to go to SEFF with me? And I said, sure. And I looked into the calendar and I talked with my wife, and it's really not that expensive to go. So Carl and I are going to be headed down to Americus, Georgia at the end of April for SEFF. We're going to be there from Thursday through Saturday. We're going to be driving through the night Wednesday into Thursday morning, but we're going to be there. We're going to have some fun, looking at some models, meeting some people that we aspire to be like, and people we've never met. So it's going to be a really good time. The aim is to try to bring the Corsair down there, but we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the weather, so the Bugatti may come down, maybe not for a flight or two, but maybe just for display. But again, it kind of depends on how the weather goes. So I really look forward to that, and hope I can see some of you guys there too. One last thing before I sign off is Flite Test. Let's see, where would I be without Flite Test? Flite Test has inspired me so much to shoot better content, to look into how they do things, from audio and visual stuff to lighting to content. Also, the guys are great. I have been interacting with Josh Bixler, Alex Zabata, Austin Fury for many years now, and it's a special time when Flite Test is able to look for a much bigger and better place for their headquarters, and the place that they have chosen is a golf course, and they've got an incredible vision. Just absolutely amazing what Josh and Jen are putting together. They're putting their own assets on the line and taking a huge risk and gamble. And frankly, it's a gamble on their community. We love Flite Test, and if you can, if you are able, I highly encourage you to head on over to their Indiegogo campaign to contribute something if you can. I have every plans to do so myself, although I haven't done it yet. It's something that's near and dear to my heart because Flite Test has been about exploring new mediums, pushing boundaries, having fun, not necessarily taking our modeling so seriously. One of the things that a lot of people say about me, that when they meet me for the first time, they're like, oh, I was afraid to show you my airplane because it doesn't look as good. And looking as good is all relative, okay? Something that looks good to you may not look good to something else. Something that doesn't look good to me might look fine to someone else. So I highly encourage you to support Flite Test because they have been able to give me a place where I can share the wealth of knowledge that I've accumulated over years of modeling and countless hours of questioning and learning, and it gives me a great outlet and a wonderful reward to share with you all as well. So by all means, please, I encourage you to support Flite Test and their attempt to raise some funds to get some things going over at the golf course that they have planned. So I think that's it for now. I've got stuff coming in the mail. I've got an airplane to start detailing pretty soon. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. You guys are encouraging me to do great things, and it's really heartwarming to see so many people with such wonderful interest in such a fantastic subject. The Corsair has come along very quickly in the last 2 weeks, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Joshua Orchard.